I'm Chris Diroll with SMA Support. What I do is I help roofing contractors take all of the admin work that they are needing to get done behind the scenes that keeps them from focusing on selling or other high dollar activities. I take that off of their plate and I do it more consistently than they do with a team of people. We are able to help you take your existing process, make sure all the key steps that are supposed to happen do happen, and support both your team internally and your clients externally. Typically it's tough to find talent at $20 an hour, and typically the people you do find, if they are any good, you're going to pull them out of that seat and move them into something of higher value. And so what we do is we help you fill those bottom level seats in your business to allow those other team members you have on site to do their jobs more effectively. Let your sales guys spend more time selling instead of doing follow-up calls and estimate preps and admin work.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then what I love about the opportunity that a contractor would have to work with you personally is you also have a consult. You've been doing consulting. You do your own consulting, and so you have this very big focus on strategy, right?
Yes.
So when you're talking to a new contractor that's interested in SMA support, kind of what's that process like that you're going through them? I'm imagining that you are not just jumping to like how many people do you need.
Yep.
There's a process there where you're focused on like what's the big picture, right?
Yeah. Usually where the discussions often happen is like people that are running out of time or having things that are fires that are popping up in their business that they don't have time to address. And so a lot of times it's root causing, okay, why does this fire keep popping up down the line that you're dealing with? Okay, let's root cause back to the beginning of your process where those issues occurred. Most of the time when people are looking at problems they have, they're looking too close to the problem versus at the earlier parts of that process. And so whether it's I'm struggling to get leads or it's I don't have enough time to get all of the permits and material orders and everything done in a day, okay, which is the things that you like to do, which are the things you don't like to do, and then let's help focus your efforts only on the things you like to do, and then find the right person to pull those other things off of your plate. Sometimes that's our team members, sometimes that's referrals to other vendors, other partners of, hey, this is the problem you're having, we're not the solution for it, we can help you in your business, but I like to be a solution provider where it's kind of like the wheel and the hub in the center of that wheel where it's like, come to me as the center and then I'm going to direct you out to the other resources that you might need. And so in my consulting business, I often tell people there's 3 tools that make up like my triangle tech stack that I see as just invaluable. Roofle and the RoofQuote Pro Instant Roof Quote tool. It's the most important thing to give potential shoppers that number right away, but if you do not have something to respond to those clients right away via automated texts, automated emails, and a continued follow-up pattern, this is the need that users of ProLine can have that need solved where, hey, I've got an instant response, but you still need a person to reach back out to those instant roof quote leads that came in. And so we have the ability to have a team member who can follow up, make those phone calls, and then handle that customer from that beginning of the journey all the way to the end of that project, keeping them from interrupting you in your day, calling you with questions, asking for things that you could have somebody else give them that answer, availability of scheduling, things like that where you have an outlet to get those tasks off your plate.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love that triangle there.
But it's like lead comes in, and then my sales guy, if it goes to his inbox, well, maybe he's going to call him. Maybe he's going to call him after the appointment. Now it's 90 minutes later.
Yeah.
Okay. ProLine, what I always tell is like it's like do the least you can to get what you need,
right?
And then build it from there. And so it's like starting with ProLine. A lot of people are like, do you have any automated follow-ups? No. Do you want to write them all out yourself? No. Just like I didn't want to do it. Okay. Look at ProLine. Now, how do we make that a little bit better? Let's add some videos from those owners so that your instant response from ProLine is a video introducing the roofing business to that potential client.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't pick up your phone yet, but then I saw, AJ's roofing video and he introduced himself. So the next time you call him the next day and try and get you on the phone, it's that I've built a little trust. Okay, now I'm willing to speak to you. Yeah. And then now you bring them in, but it's what can we do on the front end of a process to show customers we're the right people, speed to lead, being very quick to respond to them, and then being able to just give them the information information that they want when they ask for it. And most of that, when you have clients that are calling your business after they've done an appointment or you've made a sale, most of the questions they have for you, it's the same question that everybody's asking. And so it's like, when's the materials coming? When's it going to be scheduled? When's the dumpster? What permit? All of those are things that you have a process of how you respond to. If this is asked, this is what we say. Let us take that process and be the ones to do it, so that you can be the one that just goes to the job site and now you have time to go knock 10 doors around you, because you're not going to be running back to your truck to do whatever it is that somebody else could have taken off your plate, but it's detracting from your ability to go out and get more leads then.
Yep. No, I absolutely love that approach of let's free you up, and then that it's not like, yes, it could free you up, and maybe that allows you to go golfing and do the things you love, which is awesome too. Yep. But then that also then frees up, maybe you take some of that time and you go knock those extra doors.
Yep.
Or and so that then directly is going to impact the revenue of your business and ultimately the profitability of your business. If you're able to then bring in a few more jobs, you have them to flow through that system. It's very efficient, and you can maintain that high profit margin. It's just an overall win.
Well, if you think I think of some businesses that we both mutual clients of ours that are of varying sizes, but when you look at the teams that are using ProLine and SMA support, what they can produce in revenue and their bottom line profit that they are going to see is always better than the people that are not using it, because having 2 team members through SMA for less than the cost of one US-based team member who, again, if they're any good, they're moving out of the seat, or you're in that continual position of trying to find that cheap talent that's also good, it's one where now I can be twice as productive, 4 times as productive for that same cost as a US-based employee, because the reality is our work ethic in America, a lot of those $20 an hour jobs, most people either want way more money or they don't have the skills to even support that. And so we as owners have to invest so much time, energy into training them, bringing them up to speed. And that's the other component, that by taking that off of people's plates, we, for the most part, as most people in the industry suck at training. They suck at onboarding. They're not good at having their process of how do we do things documented. And so a lot of those things that when you're continually trying to find people and staff a person in that seat, it's just one that it drains a lot of your energy. And so it's like, this is something I don't even want to spend my time doing this. I started as a sales guy. Next thing I know, I have 10 people working for me. I don't want to be a manager. I just wanted to be a sales guy, and it started growing. It's like, great, let us help you with those things that zaps your energy, so that you can just focus on the ones that you need to do, make you money, and give you energy.
100%. I've been so impressed by everyone that I know from SMA support. All of the, not just the staff such as yourself, but also specifically the team members they're placing in these businesses. I'm always pleasant. I remember when my co-founder John, that was my first exposure to SMA, as he hired Kathleen. Yep. And I was so skeptical at first. I'm like, she's across the world. Yep. There's no way. And there was certainly some pain points, but we got past all those pain points, and now she is such a critical part of his business, and she's so good at using ProLine, and there's a growing number of SMA support team members that understand ProLine at a very deep level, so they can get plugged in, even if they haven't worked in a contractor before that uses ProLine. Their team members all have, so they can always go talk to their team members and be like, hey, they're got this inside line of knowledge on how to come in to someone that uses ProLine and really blow it out of the water, just really help that contractor to reach that next level. So that's been really impressive.
I appreciate that, and it's one that I am always constantly impressed by what the team is capable of. And I've worked in other places outside of a family business, corporate America, and it's trying to delegate or trying to get other people to do things. Most people, you're just not getting the A players, and so it's hey, I send them something, then it's 2 weeks later and I still didn't get it done. When I now go to this team and I have my team and it's hey, here's an idea, here's an outcome I'm looking to achieve, this is all I'm going to tell you is I want this outcome. Just try and make it happen for me, and I'm not going to step in and let them run with things. For example, a ProLine build. We have a client that is switched over to ProLine. He's a spray foam insulation contractor. And I said, hey, SMA team, I think that there's a lot of a need for us to be able to help a contractor like him who wants to migrate and has a need to use us. What can we do to better support ProLine? And so I said, hey, let's try and just move his estimates over. We did a project for him where we just said, let us take a stab at this. I barely touched him. I basically gave him a couple days of direction. 2 weeks later, we've migrated all of his installation quotes into ProLine, built out some basic workflows, and it's been a very hands-off thing where I've found a lot of the times when I'm working with stateside talent, they are needing you to draw the map and then walk them to every point on that map, whereas the team members that I'm working with in the Philippines, they're very hungry and they want to be the ones to always do it and seek out that answer, and so they're very good about being proactive to, instead of coming to you with a question about how do we do this, it's like, one of them, he sent me a message and he said, ProLine's help articles are the best we've seen of any other software, and we support 50 plus softwares throughout different roofing businesses that we're all using, and when they saw how easy it was to learn what they needed to do in ProLine, it was like, oh yeah, we can easily set this up. And so I often tell our clients, like, even if there's a software we've never heard of or used before, give us a week on it and we're going to be able to start running that software better than you will, because to be honest, you, the owner, is not the one typically who's very good at understanding all the behind the scenes parts of how do we connect these, how do we make these things work. And so it's like, let these guys do it, because they've worked on so many of these processes before, other softwares, they're familiar with best practices of how things are set up or how they could be set up, and if they see something that's not being done, like, oh, your ProLine reports, why aren't you guys pulling reports? Oh, we just don't have it set up because the data is not input correctly. Okay, well, let us clean up the data and then turn on this report so I can send you this report every Monday and you have it ready for your team meeting. Let me take that off of your plate, because you're steering without a rudder if you don't have that information. And so it's like, that tool is only as good as the information that's in it and making sure that information's correct. And so we can allow somebody to be a lot more powerful, because the guys will take initiative, and girls, and it's like, hey, here's something you asked me for, and then they take it 2 steps further and are bringing you more. By the way, I thought of this and this, and I added it to this as as I was working on that. So they're so good, and what I love also is, I mean, the money that they're relatively inexpensive for us, but the money that they're being paid is life-changing in the Philippines. Like and that's something that I kind of dug into. It's like, there's no way that we're getting these top tier people for this, but they are more than happy because of how strong the dollar is. It's like they're able to live great lives that they otherwise it'd be very difficult for them to get a local, like a job working locally that would make the same money. So that, like, to touch on that point, when SMA was first getting started, they had a realtor in the Philippines that was like, hey, we got you this office. Basically within 6 months they had to move to a new office, and this was the office that they were going to grow and expand and scale into. The reason that they had to move is because that office had a very, very small parking lot, and there was way too many people with cars to fit in the parking lot, which to us, you're like, oh, okay, but over there, most process outsourcing firms don't pay their team members enough money that they can even afford a car. So SMA, we're at the top or in the top 5 of what we are paying our team members, and so it gives us a couple things. One, team members know when they're coming to work for us that we're going to give them money, and we're going to make sure that they stay motivated to be, give me that 100% level achievement. But we are committing to them as an employee that you're an employee of SMA, you're not a 1099 like a lot of these other outsourced companies are either. And so we've created a structure where we pay them really well, but we also support them. We give them things like health insurance. We give them bank accounts. We set those up for them. Bank accounts is not something that everybody in the Philippines has. And so there is things that we do to make sure that we aren't having retention issues. So when I staff somebody into that seat for your roofing business, that same person's going to be there. And the only reason they should be leaving and moving out of that seat is they're getting promoted and going to a new role within our teams. But we keep our churn on active SMA team members really, really low, because it's the culture that we've put in place makes it so that they feel valued, supported, and we're giving them everything that they need to be successful. And this is why it's like they're always giving 110% to it. And so
yeah, they're committed, and they're being taken care of.
Yeah, and if you look at like to the like kind of the exchange rate aspect of it, what if you could pay, you know, the equivalent of, let's call it engineer salary to somebody here for an entry-level production position?
Yeah.
You're going to get way better talent. And so over there, it's like, dude, I can get way better talent for the same price point as our, you know, knucklehead burger flipping guys that don't know the butt end of a hammer from the other side. And so it's like we can find better people to put in those seats, and what they are capable of in the growth that they're looking for is often stronger than what we're seeing for people here that just are looking for, I just need a job and a paycheck and I'll watch Netflix while I'm working on my quotes. And it's like, hey, why does your inside team, they only did 6 estimates today? It's like, well, she was pretty busy. I'm like, she was pretty busy watching Netflix. She wasn't pretty busy, because it's like I can see the call logs. Some of these went to voicemail. Like, what was going on?
Right.
And so what's nice for this process really too is there's a couple layers of things that in America people are like, there's no chance in hell you're going to be doing this while I work. It's just normal. It's what it works over there. So screenshots, random screenshots of what they are working on, so that we keep logs to make sure they're staying on task and or doing what they're supposed to be doing. Another one is we have quality assurance teams in place that listen to the calls that they do, make sure that they're adhering to script, and then also coach the teams. We've got a team of 12 people that all they do is basically listen and coach on that aspect of it. Yeah. And then there's also on every team, there's a couple managers who are tasked with being the ones to handle a lot of the coaching, the behavioral development, all the things that you as a leader should be doing with your team. They're taking that off of your hands as well. And so when these people come to work for us, they feel valued, and they feel that, hey, there's not only just I'm going to work for somebody, but I have an entire support staff behind me to help make sure I'm effective and able to grow and, you know, do better and achieve the goals that I want to achieve in life too. And so it's a very positive two-way street for all of us involved. So
yeah, I love it. Good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I tell everybody, it's like, if it wasn't for John Delorier, like everything in my journey started because I listened to John on the Roofer Show and was just like, I want to reach out and shoot the shit with you. Next thing I know, we start using Roofle. And then a month after that, I signed up with SMA. And then, you know, 2 months after that, now we get the very V1 of ProLine when it was still not the CRM.
Yeah.
And it's like all of this stuff were answers to like problems that I had in my day-to-day as a roofing sales guy. Roofle helps me, you know, give the tire kicking realtors a price, you know, quickly without wasting my time. But now ProLine gives me the ability to remarket to all these realtors that are using my tool and show them how we're the right roofer with these little automated little quick videos or whatever that we're putting in. And then the SMA team member is there to be the one on that phone and escalates it to the right person when it's needed. But again, 90% of that, you know, customer journey can be handled by that person at the bottom of the ladder, provided they're trained well. So John, if you're listening to this, I appreciate you, buddy. AJ, I appreciate you too, man, because like this ProLine's a tool that, I don't know, I feel like the energy that I have for ProLine being on the outside is equal to the energy that you guys have for ProLine, and it's like I don't even have any financial gain to come from all this. It's just your team has been able to take, every client I talk to has had an idea of something that is missing from ProLine when they sign up. It's pretty much every single one, and every one of them has said the same thing. They're like, dude, that was so fucking fast. I messaged them. Tomorrow morning I look and it's updated, and they're like, oh, AJ sent me a note, he just did it last night, or like Rolando knocked something out. And so I think your guys' ability to be able to pivot, adjust, and kind of just tweak things, it's very, very quick. And I think that's given all of the users, like you see why everybody's so freaking excited about ProLine. It's like the ProLine Mafia. It's like, dude, we're not paying all these people to go talk about it. It's just like this tool kicks so much ass in my business. Like I want to make sure everybody else knows about it, because if I can get all the people in my market working, using these tools that make us all better, we can all charge more and we can all make more money. But if we're all competing with just like basic tools and all that, it's like it really lowers the value of we as an industry, and the standard that we set ourselves to. So I don't know, man. I appreciate you guys. It's one of those tools that I don't think I will ever not be thinking of another person I meet that could be using ProLine. And it's just like all the problems you're having, how does ProLine fix a lot of them for you? And then the ones that ProLine can't solve, then I come in. Now talk to me.
Roofing SMA.
Yep. So yeah, so anybody out there, if you're looking for ideas, you just want to talk, ProLine, SMA support, Roofing, you name it, give me a call. Like, this is the stuff. Let's connect. I can tell you about how ProLine can kick ass in your business, or any of the other things that we rambled on about today too. So
I love it. Well, thanks so much, Chris.
You're welcome, man.
Always a pleasure. And
Thanks.
Good chatting. So
Thanks,
and thank you for the kind words.
Yeah.
It means the world.
It's been a fun journey to watch from the outside, and I am always excited to continue to see like your guys' growth and progress. So
I appreciate it. Yeah, we're all about speed. Speed is the key, especially we're always playing catch up with somebody, and that will probably never stop. There's always somebody that's really good at X thing, and that we're going to have to compete with. And so it's just about we got to move as fast as we can.
I look at it, the world of CRMs is outrunning the bear, and you guys are very far ahead of the pack. And what the bear is coming after, like, there's a lot of lacking communication in most of the other platforms that require another integration to make it happen.
Right.
And it's like, this is something that is very quickly going to kill your business's ability to just run as efficiently as it was. And so if you're not having that built in, you're missing the point.
Yeah.
So
I love it. All right,
dude.
we'll wrap up there. Thank you so much, Chris.
Thanks, man.